Who's there? Oh, it's you. Come on in. Have a seat. Want a coffee?
Hey yo, quit looking at me like this. One thing before you sit down for the sit-in, just wanted you to know that I haven't been watching Carlos Mendes' video, the Order of Waffle number 2, before doing this. It's quite interesting to see how much we think along the same lines in many points and at the same time.
Welcome back to Tailor-Made Scale Modeling. This is another episode of the sit-in. As it's been good tradition, here is the usual cup of joe, and this time it's coming from the beautiful city of Boston. It's another Starbucks cup, and there is a bit of a different history to it, because when I was in Boston in 1989 for an extended period of, I don't know, I think 6 weeks, probably, I don't know, I didn't have the money to spend any on memorabilia such as this. So this one was bought by my wife, who visited Boston professionally sometime in the early 2000s. This is a pretty new line of, or it was at the time, of the Starbucks cups, and it's a beautiful reminder of one of the most beautiful cities I have visited so far. And don't want to step on anyone's toes here. So far, it's been my favorite city next to Seattle. All right, but yeah, let's go on with the stuff we're doing. Just a little impression for you what's on the workbench. It's the old Sonderkraftfahrzeug 7 that is giving me the fits, due to the fits. Don't know if that makes sense, but it's a killer kit for the nerves, at least. All right, it's been quite a while ever since I did my last sit-in feature, and a lot has happened. I have here the usual selection of notes I've taken during the weeks about the things you've been ranting about and waffling about, and so I just picked the first one. Community power. Community power, what is that? It seems that most of us get the very, very distinct and strong feeling that we are part of something really special, and that's the scale model community here on YouTube. It's a friendly community, it's an open community. Usually, if behaving averagely nice, it's not a problem to be a member of it. You're welcome with open arms, and it's not depending on your skill, but it's more depending on your social graces. If you're a cool guy, you will be liked, and you will be respected for what you do, and it's a very live and let live community, and I really love that. I haven't had that feeling in quite a while. I've been member of many forums before, mostly written forums, and most of them started out in such a nice manner, but unfortunately most of these pages become home for trolls sooner or later. They're sneaking their way in, and they're, I don't know, probably they're having a way of making themselves indispensable.
but you know, I've been alienated from so many forums in the past that I'm super happy to be part of this community, which is a giving one, a sharing one, a friendly one. This is where you'll want to feel at home. And in some parts it's becoming, you know, very family-like. What can I say? It's a little bit like in the morning when I sit at the breakfast table. You know, it's just like, you know, you're waiting for the family to get up, and then after everybody has left the house, I'm turning on the computer and see what's been up overnight in the community, and it's always great to see known faces and hear the stories and the rants and the waffles. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And how special this community is very obviously shown with the case of Ken Abrams. Probably a lot of you hopefully know him. He's one of the editors of Scale Model Addict, and he suffered an eye injury as a boy and lived with it for all his life without any bigger problems, but he turned blind in this one eye just a couple of weeks ago, and found out that it was operable, but his insurance plan wouldn't cover the surgery necessary to restore the eye. And for obvious reasons, few of us have the dough to just put down the kind of money a surgeon asks to repair your eyes. So with the help of a few friends, a fundraiser was opened, and I think within 24 hours of opening that fundraiser, all the cost for the upcoming surgery for Ken was covered with donations from out of this community. And this is my heartfelt thanks to everybody. You're showing me that this world is probably a lot better than the newspapers would have us believe. That's the power of our community. And I'm looking for the sprue here. Can't find it. There's the one. Okay, this is the one. It's been great to watch this. Community power. All right. Well, there's of course, I mean, people are the ones that run this thing, so, you know, it's always a little bit of a communication thing between us individual modelers here to do these waffles and rants and sit-ins and whatever you like to call them. It's been a lot said during this 10 days. I didn't put up a new sit-in, so it's hard to keep track of what everybody said at which time. And of course, I'm always 2 days behind the actual video status on the YouTube. So, for example, just yesterday, Carlos Mendez brought out his second order of waffle, which I had the pleasure of watching halfway through only, but I didn't get there all the way. Time limitations, and it's a 50-minute waffle, so that's really taken some time. And as well, Mr. Bob, oops, sorry, I'm taking the dive to recover that part. You probably won't hear me for a few seconds. Here's some music. Alright, okay, that was relatively quick. No music needed, hopefully. Where was I? Oh yeah, Mr. Bob's gonna bring out some kind of waffling thing as well. And I'm very glad that all these working and waffling sessions are
so well received. And
that's probably the best opportunity now for me to say thank you for watching all my movies so much, and especially the older stuff. You know, I did about a year ago, you know, when I had like 3 subscribers. I put on quite a few videos about ship modeling and creating seascapes and things like that, and I'm very happy to see that you really like these, and these are being watched now more than ever. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, well, whenever you feel, if you have a question or if you need support for your project, please contact me. I will try to do my best. Please, I have 24 hours in a day. A day job, a family, a hobby, and YouTube. So I will probably keep myself short in the replies, but I will try to help you. Yeah. Don't be scared to contact me, please. If you feel so, do so. This is what this community lives on and lives by. Yeah, people not being afraid to offer what they do, what they can do, what they're able to do. Yeah, I'm no different. I'm happy to help, really. It's not just saying, it's what I do. Okay. Yeah, brings me to the next things. Missing out on your subs. Boy. There's so many people subscribing to my channel, especially ever since Cohen made a shout out to me, towards me. Thank you very much for that, brother. That was great. And it was a great step for my channel, because I think I gained like 120 subscribers within a matter of 2 weeks, which is very much above average for me. And yeah, I'd just like to say thank you. At the other time, all of you guys who subscribe, if I get a note on my email account that you have subscribed, you probably received a thank you from me. But it seems that I get like for 2 or 3 subscribers, I get about 1 message about new subscribers. And that's so I'm missing out on you. If I'm not saying thank you personally, I'd like to take the opportunity to say thank you now. Thank you. Okay, let me have that. This is not. That should do. Okay, and damn. Did you see that ping? Ping. And it's taking a dive. I'll be back right after these messages. It's a lucky day. No, I'm really having a good time taking a dive after these. Okay. Another thing about this community is that everybody is so polite.
and so considerate. You know, like I said in the beginning, this is probably the friendliest community I've encountered so far, and I really, really hope it stays that way. However, don't be afraid to put out constructive criticism. Like Switcher said, hey Switcher, how are you doing, buddy? Don't be afraid to say if you don't like anything, something, you know, say if you think that something should be done differently. Say if you don't care for something that much. You see, we don't live on positive reactions all the time. Well, you know, don't get me wrong, if you like the crap I'm doing here, but it's not necessarily the best way to improve my work. So if you don't like something, yeah, yeah, pardon the French, but I'm going right along with Switcher here, yeah. I don't need any sunshine blowing up my ass. It's not that I'm not like it, yeah, but if you see something that's not up to standard, if this is something you would have expected better or different, say so. You know, we improve through challenge. We're not improving through the proverbial sunshine blown up our asses. So, feel free to do this constructive criticism. You know, don't criticize for the sake of criticizing. That's the point. I mean, that's just trolling. You know, if you don't like it because you don't like it, you know, you can shut up. But if you don't like it because you think something is gone wrong or done poorly or something like that, then by all means tell me how to improve and not just that it's crap. All right, should go as a natural thing among friends all the time. And if you see something going wrong, say so. Okay, this is one of these things that usually don't work out. Yeah, like I knew from the beginning. So, if you have a thread like that, then tipping this in super glue at the tip is usually a good idea, because then you can just shape this into a guidable tip that will pass right through the eye. Okay, this is good. Now, needing some this is I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? This is a copper thread, strand from a bigger thread, and these are very nice actually to tie things like this up, because this is like in-scale rope very much. So sorry for not
talking as much now, but this needs my concentration for a bit. As you can see, I'm just rolling this copper thread up. Now I'll fix this with some super glue. This is probably the only time I use the very liquid flowing stuff. Usually I like gel type super glues better. But this is okay, there you go. Just turn this around. Looking good, isn't it? Well, I like it. Okay. Next. Okay, sorry for not speaking that much. Okay, buying kits. Ooh, hey, I've been spending money again. It's not been funny again. You know, we've been speaking about things like box art. Yeah. Box art decisions to buy. That happens to me a lot. I mean, there's folks like Cohen, for example. He is so clever. He buys the stuff that is good and that makes sense for his collection and that will be used in a future project. I get infatuated by box art a lot. And I mean, if you see how the box art developed over time, you know, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's for the worst. I think that it's never a good idea for a maker or a kit producer to just put a picture of a build kit on the top of the box. That usually doesn't inspire me to buy anything. If there's a good box art from a good box art painter, then it's much easier for me to buy things. I get seduced very easily by these, and I have in my time bought quite a few kits which turned out to be pretty crappy, but they had this beautiful box art, and yeah, well, you know, it's not been it's not been a purchase by conscious decision of, you know, this is a great kit, so buy it. This is like a thing. This looks cool. This I buy. Does that happen to you? Let me know. You know, I see a cool box art. Many times I cannot resist, and I buy, regardless of the contents. Of course, this is some pitfalls. Of course, I mean, you know, Academy reboxing their There are many kits, time after time. Italy, it's the same thing. Revell, and they're putting their kits out there with a new box art and some new decals. But basically, it's the same kit. It's been out there for, I don't know, longer than I've been. For example, the UE helicopter by Revell, which is a classic plastic, built so nicely. And congratulations for doing that, man. This is such a dog of a kit. And you made it look good, really. And you need to be really commended. Okay, that is interesting. Box art says so much about the company, I think. Sometimes if a subject is very new and very cool, then a photo on the top can do. But I prefer painted, good, well-painted box arts any day of the week. And I hope that it will always stay that way, that good kits will come with great box art. Box art is, it's an important part of our hobby, I think. It inspires, it infatuates, it says so much about the kit inside, in character, even though it doesn't say anything about the quality of the kit. So let me know, how do you feel about box art? Are you influenced in your purchase decision by box art? Just like I am? I'd like to know. Please tell me. Oh, here's another good one. Technical Jackalope took a trip down memory lane about first model kits in one's life. I can remember the first modeling done around our house was my father building wood ships. This is probably why I go back to ships all the time, because ever since my earliest days, ships have been around me. And my father didn't build many. I think he built 3, with only 2 really finished. But it took him about 20 years to build them. However, it was my father as well who brought home the first plastic kit. And I can remember it was a combination kit of a, I think, 72nd Hawker Typhoon or Tempest, I'm not quite sure about that, in combination with a V1 rocket. I have not done any research about that kit, or have never tried to buy it, but that was the first kit that came to our house, and it was built by my father and my elder brother while I was probably only 4 years old. My elder brother was about 6, so he was helping. And then we played with it, and of course neither the V1 nor the Hawker Typhoon Tempest, whatever it was, lasted out the afternoon. But that was the first time I had the smell of styrene glue in my nose. And it was only, I don't know, a couple of years later, maybe 3 years later, maybe 4 years later, when again my brother got a present. I think it was an Airfix Bismarck that he built And being the younger brother, I was of course always envious about the stuff my elder brother had, and so I started myself. My elder brother, he quit that after some times, but I stood in this scale modeling for quite some times, but mainly because we were playing with these. I mean, I had built every conceivable matchbox or airfix kit within my reach, which was flying for the Royal Air Force, and we were having epic battles in the garden with the neighborhood boys who built German planes or US planes, and that was all fun, really. And after some time we even started painting, and it was quite nice. And at a time I had my room, basically every spot of shelf place was stuffed with planes, and I even built an Royal Air Force airport, an airfield really, with a 76 scale flak guarding the airfield. Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant times. But then, of course, I lost interest because most of my buddies lost interest, and other things became more important. So I got back to the hobby only in 1999. What my intentions were to start the hobby at the time, I will tell you in another sit-in. Man, so many stuffs to clean here. It's always good to remember our humble beginnings in this hobby, both as an adult and when we were kids, when playing was what we did with the kids and what we bought them for, and the clean fun we had putting these things together in say 20 or 45 minutes, and then take them out to fight our battles with the neighborhood boys. That's just the best thing you should remember about modeling. This is where it's coming from, and this is where we started, and today's hobby has little to do with it. And sometimes it's just necessary we put ourselves back into that position when we started out. It does make a whole lot of sense to do that. Because many times we take things way too seriously. And I'm trying to put myself back into that, into that position where the fun of modeling and the fun of having a completed project outscores precision, outscores accuracy, and all these things that are so important to us today, but are so unnecessary for scale modeling as such. If you enjoy yourself, paint your tank pink. Like these Hello Kitty type things. I have I'm not a fan of Hello Kitty. Please don't get me wrong in this. But I love the sentiment to go out and built a apple candy red tiger tank with a pink bunny on the side. I think that's just brilliant because it's, you know, it's the fun. It's showing us that, you know, we're not doing this for our survival, we're doing this for our fun. I mean, of course, there are professional modelers out there who make a living off that, but I'm not, and I guess most of you are not, and so we have to take a step back once in a while and be inspired what's around us and what the fun part of our life is, because this is what we're doing this for. And if we take this too seriously, the fun is going away. And this is where all the trolling has come from, I think. This is not just envy about not being able to do something that somebody else does. It's just that somebody is trying to impose his idea of accuracy onto your work. And that's just crap. So, be free. Throw off the shackles of rivet counting, of modeling historians, of whatever you want to call it. Do this for fun. Don't let this become an obligation. Of course, if you write for magazines and things like that, you cannot always avoid it. Well, that's what happens to me, because I'm easily infatuated. I take on too many projects. I have a hard time saying no, doing reviews. And, well, you know, this sometimes puts me in a tight spot. And then at some point, I just have to take a step back. Say, no, I can't. And I have to quit a number of projects and probably even return a few samples. But sometimes it's just necessary to say, no, I can't, no, I won't, and I will go back to what I want to do now and not what I have to do. Like, you know, Waterloo. Waterloo did that. John, good decision. You know, drop everything and do your Titanic. That's a good thing to do. It's a clever thing to do. Yeah, because you want to be inspired. You want to have the fun in it. Yeah. The only thing that you should not allow to happen is that you start and start and start and start and never get finished. Because that's probably the most frustrating thing to do. I take little stock in finished models, really. The building process is the most important thing for me. I build and paint and set up my model. Then I take it to a number of shows, and then usually it gets boxed up until a good use is found for it, or I give them away as a present. I probably have given most of my finished models away by now. It's not necessarily as presents. For example, one project that my club and I were building was a 1 by 1 meter representation of a Liverpool harbor during World War II in 1/700 scale, and this one went to a museum in Poland. It's not on show. It has been on show for about a year, but it's not on show right now. And probably this will be returned to us, but I don't know really yet how that's going to work out. Okay, I am I'm approaching my usual limits, so there's just 2 more things I want to say. Dr. Cranky just very recently put out a video about us and the learning process in the hobby. And you couldn't be more right in what he said, that we have to allow ourselves a learning curve. There's very, very few modelers out there who have this
talent to just do things without ever having any training or trial. Most of us make mistakes. We all made mistakes. Let's say, put it this way. And the best thing you can do is, of course, learn from them and not be frustrated. Accept your mistake as part of the process becoming the modeler you will be. It's a natural thing. Let it happen. And while you're at it, allow yourself to make these mistakes and settle for a certain result. Even if it's not satisfactory, later you will go back to that finished model, you will look at it, and you will remember the time you were not able to, for example, make a shiny paint job, a flawless shiny paint job for a car, for example. Or you were not able to do small photo etch things, or big ones for that matter. You will go back and you will recall the time, and these will be sweet memories for you, because at some point you will master the technique. Nothing is beyond learning. Of course, some are more talented than others, and some have a way of doing things that makes it look easy, but it's not. It's really not easy. I have been complimented a lot on my work lately, and it's the only thing I can say about that is, if somebody says, "Ooh, master modeler" and things like that, is I am not feeling like this. A master, in my opinion, has much more to offer than I have. You see, I'm feeling like an apprentice all the time. With every model, I try something new. There is no end to the learning curve. And sometimes the curve is steeper, sometimes the curve is more shallow. But there's always learning, and there's always development. And look at the other modelers. There's so much to see. There's so much to do. There's so much to learn. I've basically been able to master the art of putting two pieces of plastic together. But look at figure painting, for example. That is something which I consider beyond me, but only now. Very likely, like I started out with ships, and I did that for 10 years before I did anything different from ship modeling. Of course, there is a certain amount of proficiency you can achieve if you stick to a modeling subject for that long. And this would be working out for everybody. But then, of course, there are new things you learn and develop if you do tanks and planes and things like that. And of course, even if you go back to ship modeling, then you will have achieved new horizons. You have reached new horizons. You have a broader perspective of doing things, and you transfer your knowledge from one to the other. And this is what will make you a better modeler. Don't stick to the same thing all the time. Try something different once in a while. It's good for you. Even if your heart is, very much within this very special subject. Change of scenery and change of perspective is a healthy thing. It's always been like that. All right. Which takes me to the final point I want to address, and we're coming up on a very, very long video this time, and this is the fuck. This happens to me. This happens to you. And this happens to most of us at some point in our career as a modeler. We fall into a state in which we want to model, where we have the feeling that we need to model, but where we just can't do it. It's something, you feel driven to do something, but once you start to do it really, you're not feeling comfortable around your tools, the kit, the workbench, the smells, the sounds, the kits that inspire you. I mean, you have bought them because you thought something about it was cool and you had a certain plan to do them, but then it's just you're falling short every time you try to do the kit. That happens to all of us, I think. I mean, there's a few people, of course, who will have this to a lesser extent, and they will probably just need like a day or two to get away from it. I used to fall into the funk quite frequently, and most of the time when I accept too many commitments. Building for a magazine, group builds, reviews, and so on. If this is starting to feel like work, you can do this for a while, and then it's just, you're just fed up. There's so many have-tos in your life. If you allow the have-tos to take a foothold on your workbench, then sooner or later this turns into a second job, and then you're losing your hobby. And if you're losing your hobby, then of course it's something of you is dissatisfied, not satisfied with the situation, not satisfied with whatever you do. And because the situation is overwhelming you, you will transfer this into your modeling subject, and you will not be able to get any proper result done. Step back, go away, walk away from the workbench, do something differently. It can be, a small thing like cleaning up your workshop, or walking away from it altogether. Lock the door, go out, go cycling, go visit a museum, maybe take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks off, and, try to get your mojo back by recharging your batteries for it. And this recharging usually works out when you walk away from the workbench. It does for me. Sometimes the funk isn't so bad, and it's enough if I just clean out my my hobby room here. Sometimes it's not good enough, and this is mostly during summer when the weather is good, and my son is going to school, my wife is a teacher, and for 6 long weeks they're sitting around here, and if they're around the house, I find it so difficult to model anything. That's why I usually take a break during the summer for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, so I have a chance to recharge my batteries on a regular basis. I can only recommend you do the same once in a while. Walk away. Take a step back, look at what you're doing, and if you really feel comfortable around your workbench. If you don't, just as I said, walk away. It's easy. It's not difficult. And give yourself a chance by saying no once in a while. There's, of course, I'm sitting here on 300 model kits, and of course every single one of them has some certain project already installed, but I cannot work 300 different things at the same time. Nobody can. So allow yourself to recover from the challenges around this beautiful workbench, and you will feel the better for it. As this is 50 minutes already, and this is way too long, actually, this is 50 minutes longer than intended, I will to get to talk about inspiration the next time around. Thank you very much for stopping by and listening to this waffle. And of course, this is my opinion. Yeah, you can have your own. You can totally disagree with me. Yeah, it's again this thing. If you don't like it, walk away. And by saying so, I say thank you for tuning in, saying thank you for watching and enduring all this blabber for 50 minutes now. I can't believe it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.